Any culture that requires there to be dating coaches to show fucking people on how to game up chicks is a culture that is damaged. And that's what's been going on here, man. This is why there's so many dating coaches, because the thing is there's so many guys that aren't getting anything. And if you go to other countries, it doesn't even exist. In Brazil, there's no such thing as a dating coach. In Colombia, there's no such thing as a dating coach. Have you guys ever heard of dating coaches from other countries?
Hey, Jaime Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Jaime Woods back at it with another travel video. And today, guys, we're going to be doing the pros of dating overseas. So the last video, I went over the negatives and the cons. This time around, I'm going to do the pros. And trust me, guys, you want to watch this whole entire video because there are a lot of good points I'm about to talk about in this video. But guys, make sure to subscribe. You hit that like button. You hit the notification bell so that way you guys know when I'm dropping heat. But let's get it started.
You need to come in Búzios. Búzios are the best city in Rio de Janeiro. The best. No other word for Búzios. No, Copacabana is good, is famous, but Búzios are the best for you. That are the best city here in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. Place, it's amazing.
Oh my God, that looks nice.
So beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. It's a touristic city. You will like that.
Number one is the cultural exchange. So this is one of the most beautiful things about dating overseas that you will still get here in the US, but not to the same extent as if you were to date overseas. So this is what I mean by that. Is when you're dating here in America, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I got to shut that down because people think just because I'm making a dating overseas video that means that I'm telling y'all to just date overseas and not date here in America. No, obviously you want to still date here in America. It's great to date here in America. There's no problem with that, all right? Had to clear that. But besides the point, so when you date here in America, for example, you might be dating a girl that's from Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic or whatever other country, but she was born here. So she's technically American, but her background is from these countries. Now, she could teach you a thing or two about the culture. Maybe she could teach you how to dance with salsa. Maybe you can go eat some Puerto Rican food at a Puerto Rican restaurant, but it's not the same like if you were dating a Puerto Rican girl from the island. That's a completely different experience. You actually get to see the culture firsthand instead of getting its and bits of it, of course, here in the United States. It's a different vibe. And the reason why this is a good thing is because it opens your mind up. Because I remember when I first started dating overseas, which was a couple years ago, my understanding of the world was so limited. Because the thing is, here in the education system, in the high schools and the middle schools and all that, the colleges, they don't really teach you enough about world history. Like, yeah, you know, it's some bits, obviously ancient Egypt, whatever, but you don't really know the world as much as you think you do. You think the world is the United States. You think the United States is the world when it's really not. It's just a small portion of the entire world. So when you start to date girls overseas, you start to grow your knowledge about the world a bit more. You're like, wait a second, I didn't know that this culture was like that. I didn't know they ate that. I didn't know that these places existed. Like, for example, when I was dating my ex-girlfriend, 𝐿_řina, and I keep mentioning her, by the way, because I've learned so much through that relationship. Shout out to 𝐿_řina. I know you're watching out there somewhere. Shout out to you. Thank you. But I remember when I first started dating 𝐿_řina, she was like, hey, let's hang out in Turkey. Let's hang out in Istanbul. And I'm like, Istanbul? What the hell's over there? You know, no offense to them, but that's what I thought originally because I never heard of this place, right? I've never heard of it. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's like, whatever. So the more I started looking into the country and studying it, I became fascinated with it. I'm like, interesting. The Ottoman Empire, Istanbul is one of the very few cities, if not, I think the only city in the world that is divided up in two different continents, Europe and Asia. It has all these cool landmarks like the Blue Mosque, of course, the Galata Tower, all these cool things. So when I went over there, it was like mind-blowing for me. It was one of the greatest trips I've ever been on because it was like I got to learn about a culture that I didn't even know existed, that I barely even knew about. I got to learn more about Muslim culture because, as y'all know, of course, Turkey is a Muslim country, but it's very European at the same time. So you got to learn about all this. I discovered that there was a region in Turkey called Cappadocia where they fly hot air balloons, and there's a bunch of desert cities. And I thought that was fascinating. I didn't know about that until I met Arena. So that led me into discovering other countries, because we went to other countries to travel together. And it really opened up my mind. I'm like, damn, like there are so many great cultures in the world. There's so many places I could see myself living within the world. And I wouldn't have known that before I met her, before I started dating overseas. You get to learn a new language. This is another one, is through dating this girl, it'll kind of force you to learn a new language, or well, I hope it would, right? Because you're going to be surrounded by her family, her friends. None of them probably speak English. So you got to pick up on her language, which makes you more educated, right? Now you got to go and you got to study this new language. Now you become bilingual. Now you become trilingual, whatever the case is. It's adding more skills to your arsenal. And trust me, guys, there's nothing like being one of those cultured guys that you're able to walk into any room and you could connect to people because you're already kind of familiar with their culture. And people love that. They love a cultured guy that can go in anywhere and can understand their culture. They're like, wow, how do you know about this? How do you know about that? Oh, I've been to that country. And then it goes to a whole discussion about it. And you just made a friend. That happened to me so many times where I walked into a room and someone said, merhaba, whatever the case is. And I'm like, are you Turkish? And then we start talking about Turkey or whatever country it is. We become friends out of the blue. So this is also kind of a good networking tool to learn about different cultures. Because when you do come back to the States and you get to see that, you're like, all right, I know where that's from. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool, right? But yeah, guys, it's good to be cultured. It's good to know about these things. And I feel like dating overseas just speeds up the process because you have the best teacher in the world, and that is your partner. The next one is you get more appreciation. Like there's nothing more better than going somewhere and having a woman just give you the sweetest kisses, the biggest hugs, making cute little gifts for you. And it's not anything extraordinary, but literally you can tell that they took days and weeks and months to make you something. I remember some of my exes, I would go visit and they would have a shirt made for me, slippers made for me. They went to the gift shop or whatever, and they got me a $5 gift that was really cute from their country, and they gave it to me. And I didn't care about how much it cost. I just cared about the gesture. I thought it was such a cute gesture because I'm not used to getting this here in the States. I'm not used to women giving me massages, clipping my toenails, my fingernails. Not that they have to, but they're over here doing all this without me even asking, folding my laundry, doing my laundry, whatever the case is, literally making me breakfast, making me dinner without me asking. I think that's cool. And that's the thing about women overseas is they're taught from a very young age on how to be a good wife, a good mother from a very young age, because their mothers taught them, their fathers taught them. So it's not only the men that are being taught on how to treat the women, it's also the other way around too. It's also the women being taught how to treat a man. So because of that, it creates healthier dynamics and relationships down the road for them. And in fact, what they're doing essentially is they're trying to help their daughter become successful in their marriage later down the road, because at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, is your marriage and your relationship, not how much money you're making at your job or if you're a CEO or not. And these people understand that in other countries. So they teach them how to serve their man. They teach them how to cook for their man, all that. And so when you go ahead and meet these women, this woman is a complete package. She's over here doing everything for you that you didn't think a woman could do for you. And that's one of the biggest things I love about dating overseas, and something that will spoil you. Because when you do come back here to the States and you're not getting that treatment, in fact, you're getting the opposite treatment. Like girls are flaking, girls are showing up late to your date, they're being disrespectful, they might be insulting you, they might be on their phone the entire time that you're speaking to them. Maybe they'll ghost you after the date. That's the type of treatment a lot of guys get here for the most part, sadly. But in overseas, you're gonna get a whole different treatment. Not saying they won't be late, because Latin America, they be late, right? You're gonna get completely different treatment where girls will appreciate your time and they'll go out of their way for you to see you. So For those of you who don't know how that feels, that's what usually happens when you date overseas. And this is a big reason why a lot of guys become obsessed with dating overseas, because it's just something foreign to them, something alien to them that they've never had in the past. And so once you do that, this is one of the biggest reasons why I say that once you date overseas, you can't go back, because just that appreciation, just there's no money on it. Like you can't put a price on that. It's amazing. The next one is, I find it to be more peaceful. So here's what I mean by peaceful is, I like to be able to be around someone's company and just have a good time. Right? No one's yelling at anybody. No one's trying to fight me or put their hands on me. No one's trying to tell me what to do, what not to do, barking orders, barking commands, this, that, whatever. Now, I'm not saying that women like this don't exist overseas. I've seen it. However, you're more likely to find a woman that's the opposite of that. That's very peaceful. That literally will be like, baby, what do you want? You want me to cook for you? Don't worry, baby. I'll do that for you. They'll go ahead and cook for you. They'll go ahead and massage you. Like I said before, they'll do acts of service and they'll even buy you gifts and stuff like that. And I think it's adorable when you can just be around someone's presence and just feel at peace. Feel like, you know what? I feel at home. I feel great right now. This woman she does so much for me, and it makes you want to go harder for her because she's going so hard for you, and because she's being so peaceful. Like I think us people over here in America, like I think people here in America kind of like take peace for granted because we're so used to the chaos here. We're so used to tension and yelling at each other and toxic relationships, toxic music, toxic media. Everything's toxic here. So when we go to a place like, you know, a Brazil or wherever, where it's so peaceful and there's so much tranquility and the people there are just so friendly, so nice, you can just tell like they just have healthy mindsets. And you meet a woman there and she's doing everything for you, going out of her way for you, literally buying you cute little gifts. You guys don't really get into too many arguments. She's over here doing everything she can for you to make you happy. Like, what more else can you ask from a woman? And that's kind of what you get, is that peace, compared to here in the United States, where you'll be going back home from work and your girl's like, hey, how come you didn't throw the garbage out last night? How come you didn't wash that dish in the sink? How come you didn't do this? How come you did, like, literally nagging you? You just got through the door and you're like, God damn, girl, like, let a dude breathe. God damn. I know certain guys that literally stay in their car for 30 minutes before they go inside the house. Like, literally, they'll get out of work, they'll pull up to their driveway, they'll be in the car for 30 minutes, just chilling, listening to music, whatever they got to do to mentally prepare themselves for what they got to deal with once they get in the crib. Because as soon as they get to the crib, baby, how can you do this? How come you didn't do that? Bro, it's not peace. It's a fucking war zone when you're going to that household. This is why the divorce rate is so damn high. This is another reason why a lot of guys don't want to get into marriages here, because they understand this is the BS they got to be dealing with. At least when you're boyfriend, girlfriend, you can walk away anytime. Once you get married to her, that's it. You kind of stuck with that. You got to deal with that shit. And this is a guy's worst nightmare. Men's worst nightmare sometimes isn't really working at a job that they don't like, right? Even though that's still terrible, it's not their worst fear. One of their worst fears is going back to a home that's not peaceful, going back to a woman that's ungrateful, that's underappreciative, a family that's underappreciative and ungrateful for what the man is giving back to that household. The man is putting food in the household, he's putting a roof over their heads, he's working his ass off at a job that he hates just to come back home and get no thank yous for it. No food or nothing cooked for him, right? Everyone's turning their backs on him, doesn't even say hi to him. The wife doesn't even say hi to him. In fact, the first thing the wife's gonna say is, how come the fucking trash wasn't taken out? How come this wasn't done? That wasn't done. I'm like, girl, I just got back from work. And that's the sad reality of what some guys here in the United States have to go through on a daily basis, is unpeaceful households. So when they eventually get divorced and they go overseas and they see it's a complete opposite. And don't get me wrong, guys, you'll still get complaints and you'll still argue with foreign women. However, it's different. It's not as much, and they compensate for that. Meaning that they can throw it down in the damn kitchen. They're gonna throw it down like no other in the damn kitchen. They could throw it down in other ways too. But the thing is, one thing that foreign women understand is men work very hard. and they appreciate, and let's go back to the appreciation. They appreciate the hard work that you've done for them all day. You woke up early, you went into work, you dealt with the bullshit, you came back, you're tired. They understand you're tired. And what they're going to do is they're going to help relieve you while you're at home. They're going to help you relax, have a good time. And then after that, they'll give you the strength to keep doing it. And that's what a good woman does. And that's what foreign women do. Is as soon as you get through that door, they're taking out your shoes, they're doing this, they're cooking for you, they're massaging you like, baby, I miss you so much. How you doing today? You watch a show with her, you do your thing maybe a little bit. And then after that, you know what I mean? You go to bed together, you happy. And then in the morning, she cooks breakfast for you. I'm like, what man ain't going to want to fight hard for that woman? Even if I hated my job at that point, I'm still going to go into work and get the job done because I have someone of worth at home that I have to protect and provide for. I'm going to get through these 8 hours of this hell and I'm going to go back to heaven. I'm going to go back to peace. And that's what they're looking forward to. That's that one light of hope that makes these guys, a lot of these guys work hard, and it's these women. So that's what I'm saying. Don't let us not underrate the value of coming back to a peaceful home. The next one is there's less of a focus on materialism. Now here in the United States, it's all about materialism. What type of car you got, what type of purse you got, what type of clothes you got on, what type of jewelry you got on. Everything is like what you got, what you got, what you got. Everything is about what you got. Everything is about looking good here. That's why so many people are in debt over here, because they can't afford the shit that they're getting. And they're only getting that shit to look better than the next guy, because that's what our culture is all about. So I'm not going to pin this on women. None of this is being pinned on American women. It's all being pinned on the culture that trickles down to the men and the women here. Right? And that's what's going on here in the States. Before any of my guys, oh, you're attacking American women. I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm attacking the culture. The culture needs to change. But that's one of the things about this culture. Is all about materialism, consumer culture that we have here, where people are always buying and buying and buying and buying. Nobody's investing. This is the reason why a lot of the girls here want you to have all your shit in order. So you have a nice car, have a nice household, have all the best clothes, jewelry, this, that. And on top of that, you got to be able to provide these things for her too. So it becomes very, very transactional at the highest level. And then on top of that, it can get very pricey very quickly, especially if you're that type of guy that don't got that type of money. And the thing is, it's kind of sad, because the thing is, there's so many men out there that are making 55, like average salary here, that could be great husbands, but they get skipped over because that's what our culture has become. It's become materialistic. It's become, what can you provide for me, over substance and meaning. And that's what this country has become. So instead of these girls going after, let's just say you right now that's watching this video, that's making average salary, that's a great guy, instead of her going after you, she's going to skip over you, even though you're probably the best thing for her. And she's going to go to a rich guy, or a guy that's making 6 figures, that can give her the best bags, buy her a nice car, give her money, allowances every month, whatever the case is. And that's what happens. And then those friends tell her other friends, oh my God, look what this guy gave me. And now they want that too. And then all the girls start thinking the same way, or at least most of them start thinking the same way, where they kind of want the same thing, and they think that they're entitled to getting the same thing. And so that's where we're at in this culture, in the dating market, where it's kind of like you got to be above average to even attract a woman. Because if you're anything average or below, you're not going to attract those women unless you got game. But who got time to be gaming these chicks up? I don't got time to be gaming these chicks up. I'm too busy making videos and running businesses and doing shit. Any culture that requires there to be dating coaches to show fucking people on how to game up chicks is a culture that is damaged. And that's what's been going on here, man. This is why there's so many dating coaches, because the thing is, there's so many guys that aren't getting anything. And if you go to other countries, it doesn't even exist. In Brazil, there's no such thing as a dating coach. In Colombia, there's no such thing as a dating coach. Have you guys ever heard of dating coaches from other countries? No, it only exists in the West, where we have dating coaches. And that's because our dating culture is shit, because it's become very materialistic. We have these women just going after the elite, and then everyone else getting left in the dust. You could be amazing guys, but because you don't have those cars and those houses and that status and all that money, you're getting skipped over. So this is why overseas dating is great, and that is because you get accepted for who you are, right? Of course, guys, there are those girls that are just gonna fucking use you or just date you for your money, right? But that's another topic for another day. We can make that video down the road, so that way you guys know what to look out for. But for the most part, if you find yourself a great woman, listen, you could be making whatever type of money and you'll be fine, because the thing is, man, she values, like, women overseas value men more, and the relationship becomes more about quality time over material goods and all that. Like, I remember when I was with my exes, they never asked me for like a nice bag, Louis Vuitton this, Gucci that, whatever. They never asked me for that. You want to know what the girls overseas asked me for? They just asked me for shirts and clothes out of Shein. They were okay with me buying them Shein. They were okay with me taking them to McDonald's, right? And the thing about McDonald's was, it wasn't even me that recommended it. It was her, because she loves McDonald's. She's like, I want to go to McDonald's. I took her to McDonald's. This girl's the happiest girl ever. When is a girl here ever going to be happy about you taking her to McDonald's? Unless it's after like a drunken night out. And even then, she might judge you for that. Like, Cheesecake Factory is something that's judged here in America. You take a girl to Cheesecake Factory from overseas, and that girl's going to be so thankful and appreciative of you forever. She's going to mention it years from now. Like, oh my God, I remember when you took me to Cheesecake Factory. Oh my God. A lot of these girls come from humble beginnings. They know what it is to have nothing. So when a guy comes into their life and gives them a little something, something, they're so appreciative of that. And they're going to go the extra mile for you because of that, because you gave them something that they've never really had. And that's these dinner experiences. Any little thing you do for a foreign woman, they will value that. I think this all goes back to appreciation at the end of the day. But that's one of the biggest pros about dating overseas, is that the relationships become less about material and more about quality time and substance. So the next part is the amazing travel opportunities that come with dating a woman overseas. So this is one of the best things about dating overseas, is that it gives you more of a reason to go to her country and see what they got over there. So for example, you meet a Colombian girl, you go to Colombia for the first time, second time, third time, whatever, and she's going to show you the best spots that you didn't even know existed. She's going to be like, oh, did you know about this river? Or did you know about this club? Or did you know about that restaurant? And she's going to take you there, and you're going to be so amazed. You're like, wow, I didn't even know this existed. Like, wow. And it's such an adrenaline rush whenever you're able to see things for the first time and experience them for the first time, especially with a beautiful woman. There's nothing like that, in my opinion. When you go to a foreign country that's dope as hell, like for example, Colombia, with a beautiful Colombian woman showing you around, bro, there's nothing like that feeling in the world. Trust me. That's why the Passport Bro movement is so big right now, because guys are like, man, not only do I get to see good places and cool places that I never thought existed before, but I get to do it with a very beautiful woman. It's a win-win. And on top of that, which is the next part, it's cheap. It's cheap. That's the thing. That's the added bonus of these travel opportunities, is you start to see the value of the American dollar. Because here in the United States, I always said this. I said this to Digital Bro Mad. Shout out to Digital Bro Mad. But I told him this during our interview, and I said that here in the United States, it's kind of like your Clark Kent. Like, you're kind of aware of your power because you know you're American. You have the US dollar. You're kind of aware of that. But you're not Superman yet. You're just a normal human being, because there's other people just like you that have the same thing just as you do, or maybe they have more than you do. So you're Clark Kent. You're just a regular average person. But once you go overseas to Colombia, you become Superman. Now you truly understand the power and the abilities that you have as an American. Like I said, you're able to rent out a beautiful penthouse over there. I'm talking about something that would cost you millions of dollars here in the United States. You're able to rent it out. Like, let's just say if you were to live in Colombia, you're able to rent this place out for $1,000 a month, maybe less. In the center of the city, overlooking the beautiful landscape of the city, the beautiful skyscrapers, everything, on some Miami shit. You can rent that out for $1,000 or less. And if you're renting it, $500 for a week. Pool, hot tub, all the amenities, everything you need. Gym, everything. $500 for a week in Medellin, Colombia. You go downstairs, there's everything there. All the restaurants, all the bars, everything you need to see next to you, down the street. You can't beat that. With a beautiful woman in a foreign country, the adrenaline rush, it's all a win. It's all a win. So this is the thing, guys, is because you're dating this woman is going to motivate you to want to travel more, to go see her, but also to see these countries, and then eventually travel to other countries with her. So the next thing, guys, is you're able to meet women with stronger commitment mindsets, meaning that you're able to meet women that are more likely to want to settle down, want to get married, and want children. And they'll tell you this up front, that this is what they want. They're not trying to have a casual fling, casual one night stand. They're trying to get something of substance. And you're able to see that a lot more often overseas. And the thing is, you're able to meet women that are possibly your type that have this mindset. And it's a mind blower. You're like, wow, a woman that looks that good wants to settle down and have children? What? This doesn't happen in the States, because in the States it's in reverse. Because in the United States, our culture is in reverse. Our culture is in our 20s. We want to have all the fun in the world. We want to keep it casual. We're trying to have some fun. Hot girl summer. I'm a savage. We're trying to do all that throughout our 20s. And then in our 30s, settle down. So that's the thing, guys. When you date overseas in Europe, Latin America, Asia, Africa, wherever, you're going to meet women that are reversed. They might be 21, 22, 23. And they're already trying to get married. They're like, hey, I want to settle down. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they're going to be amazing wives. And to me, there's just something so beautiful about a woman or a man being like, hey, this is what I want to do from a young age. I'm not trying to fool around like that. I'm not trying to waste my time. This is what I want. I want a family. I want to be able to raise children and have a good time together and make special memories together with my husband and family. And there's just something so beautiful about that. Because this one is not something we're used to as Americans, but also number two, I know this girl hasn't been around the block like that. You know what I mean? This woman is going into this relationship more pure-hearted and more pure-minded because she hasn't been through all the bullshit that, let's just say, girls here in America have been through with their toxic relationships. So it's more bound to work out. It's more likely she's going to be an amazing wife to you, an amazing mother to the kids. I mean, I've seen so many guys overseas that have dated their women for a long time, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful to see, because you don't really get to see that. Like, you don't really get to see that movie relationship type of stuff where you grow old together, everything is good, like the way our grandparents had it. You don't really get to see that anymore. But your best chances of accomplishing that is to date a girl overseas. And of course, they grew up in a household with two parents where they saw a very healthy relationship dynamic. And so they know how a healthy relationship looks like. And they know the beauty of marriage. And this is what they want for themselves too. So the last thing, and one of the most important pros of dating overseas, is you actually get the type of woman that you want. Now, here in the States, it's going to be very hard for a man to get the type of woman he wants, because the type of woman we want, for the most part, are either locked in their houses and they never go out, or they're too busy going after these 1%er guys. And most of us, I would assume you guys that are watching this right now, are probably not 1%ers making six figures, millions of dollars right now. I don't think so. Right? No offense. Maybe you could become that guy one day, but right now we're not there. So that means we're not able to get the type of girl that we want. So a lot of us guys here settle for the single mothers. No offense to single moms, right? No offense, but we settle for the single mothers. We settle for the tortas or whatever you want to call them. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you don't know what a torta is, go search it up. We settle for the tortas. We settle for the older women that are bitter and angry at men, and we got to deal with that bullshit. And we're just not dealing with like the best looking of women here in the United States. That's kind of what we're left with. So all the girls that are good are either stuck at home and they're just chilling there, or they're going at the 1%. So everything in the middle is what we get: the single moms, the tortas, the ugly girls, the girls with attitude, the older bitter women. That's what we're stuck with. Because of that, man, there's a lot of guys that settle with these women and they end up getting divorced down the road anyways, because he forced himself to get in a situation that wasn't beneficial to him. And let's face it, I mean, that's not like that girl that ended up marrying that guy. That's not the guy she originally wanted. She wanted the player. She wanted the guy that left her, that got her feeling bitter and angry. That's the guy that she wanted, but she had to settle with you because she had no one better. So when you guys are settling with each other for the wrong reasons, it usually creates something very bad down the road. But here's the thing: when you date overseas, that kind of goes away, because now you're able to kind of get the girl that you want. So that girl with the Coca-Cola body, a looking girl with the nice curly hair, tan skin, or maybe you're into blondes with blue eyes, whatever you want, you're able to get it. Because there's a lot of women, like I said, with humble beginnings that want to get married, that want a husband. Of course, the American appeal, right? Because a lot of these girls grew up watching these movies and they want to come to America. They want to be able to be with America because they like the way we treat them and how confident we are and all that type of stuff. And of course, the US dollar is another strong suit of dating American, is we have the money and the currency to protect and provide for you. So that's another thing. So you're able to get a very beautiful woman to be with you as an American because of these reasons. And so instead of you having to settle for low-hanging fruit here, you're able to get the cream of the crop in another country if you play your cards right. So let me ask y'all this. If y'all only got one life to live, and life is very short, why would you settle for anything less than what you deserve? Because let's face it, a lot of us guys like that are average salary earning guys, a lot of us are good people. We want wives. We know how to treat a woman, but we get skipped over because we're not a gangster or we're not making six figures. So why should we have to settle with low-hanging fruit? Just because they told us to? Like, no. We should be able to go to another country, pick the type of girl that we want as long as she's of a legal age. As long as the woman is over 18 of legal age, of course. I got to state that. But we should be able to pick whatever woman we want. And a woman that wants us back as well. It has to be both ways, right? But we should be able to do that. And I feel like, judging from the proof that I've seen on video throughout YouTube of my brothers going overseas doing their thing, a lot of these guys are dating beautiful women. So if I'm seeing these guys dating beautiful women, dating women that bring them peace, dating women that bring them appreciation, seeing them date women that care more about substance over materialistic things, why would I not want the same thing? And it's very highly likely that you are to get the type of woman you want overseas, as long as you're willing to put yourself out there and meet these type of girls. Not only are you able to get a very beautiful, stunning woman from a foreign country, but any little thing you do for her, she appreciates. And on top of that, you have the ability to be able to move to that country to be able to live at a fraction that you do here in the United States. So it's a win-win. So you meet a girl in Colombia and things go well, you could go ahead and move to Colombia and only be paying maybe $1,000 for your bills instead of having to pay a couple thousand a month. Now you're saving money and living better. So on top of you dating her, you're saving money and living better. So guys, those are the pros when it comes to dating girls overseas. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And of course, if you did, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you like this video, go ahead and watch this video too.